Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to week 2 of J&K Sports Talk. We are back with our week. We are 3 days into the season, 4 days, however you want to call it. And I must say, it has not disappointed, both from a gambling aspect and the quality of play aspect. Um, so, Kyle, what you got? Biggest takeaway so far. You have to pick one team that you saw to start off this season and just say, "Damn, that looked good." Who would you say?
I'd say Auburn. I'd definitely say Auburn because they got it done not only on the offensive end, but they got it done on the defensive end too. And that was the definition of a complete perfect basketball game. If you wanted to play a perfect basketball game, Auburn played absolutely perfect in their opener.
Yeah, I agree. I watched that game last night, and you talk about defensive masterclass. There was times where Vermont, like that full court press, Bruce Pearl, they were up by like 20, 30. They're still full court pressing. I'm like, dude, I love this. This is something that you don't see anymore. And their offense just picked right up where they left off last year. They actually got a real point guard, JP Pogues, like we talked about in preseason show. Looked amazing. Uh, if I had to pick one team, I gotta go with the Zags, man. I looked at them last year going in the tournament, and you kind of knew something was off. They weren't as good as they were in previous years, but Jesus, they looked good. They looked good. Graham Ike developed in so many ways, and between him and I'd say the best player that I've seen with the most improvement from them was Dusty Schromer. He was knocking down threes like crazy, and he was getting open. Kind of reminded me of JJ Redick back in the day a little bit.
Definitely a taller version of JJ Redick for sure. Definitely doesn't match him on the height, but no, yeah, and I mean that pretty much just leads us into our first game that we can review is Gonzaga and Baylor off of the Power Five games of the week last week. I mean, this was domination from start to finish. There's no other way to describe it. Gonzaga outplayed Baylor in every aspect of the game, and there was just nothing else to say it. Baylor just looked completely disorganized. Gonzaga took it over. I mean, that place was electric. That place was on fire. I mean, it wasn't at the Kennel, but I mean, it was close to the Kennel technically, right down the street from Gonzaga University. I mean, that place was rocking, and Gonzaga, kind of like Auburn, they played almost a perfect game. I mean, they held Baylor to only 63 points. The freshman stars really struggled for Baylor, which I honestly didn't expect coming in. I thought just seeing these guys, a lot of them I saw play at the high school level, and I didn't expect them to come out and kind of just lay it down. I expected them to come out and be ready and be prepared for just off the games that they've played in their high school careers against top other players. But Baylor pretty much just laid a dud. There's nothing else to it. But I mean, they got it. They got their opportunity to bounce back this weekend against Arkansas. We'll see if they can bounce back. Neutral site game against Arkansas, so we'll see if they can bounce back.
Yeah, and we'll touch on that Arkansas game a little later. But yeah, like you said, Gonzaga, perfect game. But I did see glimpses of this Baylor team where I was like, damn, they do have a bright future. VJ Edgecombe, rough shooting night, but let's talk about that poster. Jesus. Yeah, that's insane. But yeah, I mean, they're young. It's going to take them a few games to gel. Getting these games out the way now rather than later is going to benefit them in the long run. So it's probably, I don't want to say it's a good thing they got beat like that, but it's bound to happen, and I'd rather happen to them now. Jeremy Roach looked great, though. I can't lie. Jeremy Roach
Hmm.
did look great. You know what to expect out of him.
Yeah,
So
no, I mean he's the leader of the team. He is the leader of the team, and he's gonna Baylor. I don't want to say Baylor's gonna get taken as far as what Jeremy Rich can take him because they're all so talented, but I mean, he's the leader of the team, and they're going to follow him. And if he plays great, they're going to continue to follow him, backpack off of him. And once the freshmen can get settled in, get ready, and then also the get Langston Love back healthy. They were missing Langston Love in that game. Getting him back healthy, I think Baylor's got a very bright future. That's why I picked them to win the national championship in the preseason. Obviously, it did not look great. Did not look great. But that's why it's my preseason pick. You get to re-pick midway through the season right before conferences. So
Yeah, I mean, well, like I said, next week we'll come back and we'll touch on rankings lightly after we
hmm
see these how these teams perform. So second game, OSU versus Texas. I must say, Texas. This is what I expected from them. They're gonna be a good defensive team, but they can't score. Trey Johnson. Everybody talked about Cooper Flag, Cooper Flag, Cooper Flag. Trey Johnson looked amazing. Bro had 30. He had 29 points, 29 or 72 points, and if Texas can't get a spark offensively, they are done. That's just the plain of it. They did score 72 points, right? But Trey Johnson's not gonna be able to do that every game. And I look at this OSU team, and this is everything that I expected out of them. I think both of us can agree on that. Um, Mobley Jr., that freshman they brought in,
John
I had no
Mobley
clue who he
Jr.
was. I never heard of the kid. He comes
He's
out here and
very
he's just
very good. He's
making
very
everything,
good.
and he's making off like moves are crazy. And one player I do want to talk about is Evan Mahaffey for Ohio State, the transfer from Penn State last year. He's getting more minutes this year, and he played very, very well. And it's all around Ohio State looked like one of the best teams in college basketball.
Yeah, no, what I saw watching this game was just it was just two great teams battling it out. This is going to be two top 25 teams. Ohio State maybe a little higher, but I mean, like I said, I mean, I picked them to win the Big Ten preseason even without seeing how all these transfers would play together. I mean, they all played fantastic together, and this looks like it's going to be a team, a force to be reckoned with in the Big Ten. That's why I picked them to win. It's why I picked them to win the Big Ten. Then we'll see if they can continue to grow and maybe become national championship contenders. But right now, Texas, Ohio State, I mean, that was just two very good top 25 teams battling it out.
Yeah, yeah, it was a great game. Uh, now let's touch about little brother UCF here. Um, as you know, I'm a Texas
I knew I saw this game on the schedule and I knew this was the
fan.
immediate upset pick. This was the immediate hammer UCF. Texas A&M has not won an opener in the last 9 years. I
Yeah,
looked that up after that game. It's been 9 years since Texas A&M's won an opener. And I think the biggest thing we can get away from this is Texas A&M is still Texas A&M. I mean, they're overrated to start the season every single year. They are not the 13th best team in the country. Now, do I think they're a top 25 team? Maybe. I think they're borderline top 25, but it's Texas A&M. It's the same old story with them, and they're probably going to get hot late in the season, look good in the SEC tournament, and get to the NCAA tournament and probably bow out in the round of 32 or Sweet 16. I mean, that's really what I saw from Texas A&M. UCF, on the other hand, man, they looked a lot better than I expected. They looked a lot better than I expected. Really good defensively. The scariest part is Mikey Williams did not play. Their leading scorer from last year, Sellers, did not play. It's a UCF team that isn't even healthy, and they're already getting a big win like this. UCF could be a very sneaky team in the Big 12 off of that, but I'm not going to overreact. Just one game. We'll see how it goes once we get Sellers and Mikey Williams back. But that looks like a team that looks like a good basketball team. Another borderline top 25 team.
yeah. I mean, you hit right on the hammer, right on the nail there. I mean, A&M, Wade Taylor lived by the three, died by the three, but I will say one thing about A&M. Watching them play, the offensive boards that they were getting were insane. Like they had like almost half of their rebounds were offensive
Mm-hmm.
boards, and
And I mean, they led the country in offensive rebounds last year
last
too. I
year,
mean, that's
yep,
that's exactly what they're going to do, and they're going to get those second chance points. But can they capitalize on those second chance opportunities? They didn't capitalize whatsoever against UCF, and they even got the UCF big man in foul trouble. 4 fouls with 18 minutes to go in the second half. They still couldn't capitalize. So
yeah, nah, that was rough. That was really rough. But yeah, I agree. UCF looks elite. I think I'm gonna overreact. I'm gonna overreact.
you have
I
the
think
right to overreact.
they legit are gonna be that Big 12 like championship contender by end of the season when they get flowing. Um, so what else? What's the other games we got here? Those are the big three, really.
The
Um,
big three in the Power Five, one of your non-Power Five games of the week, Chattanooga and St. Mary's.
I want to say that's tonight. Let me check. I think it's tonight. The game's tonight at 10 o'clock. I messed
Fair
up.
enough.
I was looking at
That's all
them
right.
and I was put one for Thursday without thinking about it. And all my Power Five games from last week, that non-Power Five games I mean, are tonight. So we'll come back and touch on those tonight. But
That's
Chattanooga,
all
they
right.
they got
We got to
destroyed.
we got some takeaways to go over for sure. So, and I
Oh
think
my god.
the first takeaway here is I think the Big East looks very poor so far. The Big East does not look great. What
Yeah.
have you seen from the Big East games that you've watched so far?
I mean, let's just address the elephant in the room, Villanova. Like,
Yeah, I don't know how Kyle Neptune still has a job. I said it last
we
week.
talked
I,
about
I
it.
I
Yeah.
don't think he's a good coach, and I mean he has proven it day in and day out, man. I mean losing to Columbia on your home floor, like
Giving up
it's just
90 points to Columbia is
oh,
insane.
it's embarrassing. Like this is a team. Until Kyle Neptune is gone, I mean this they're terrible. They're awful, and they're not going to be good until Kyle Neptune is fired. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah, they have an 8-man rotation, which that's the way most team. I guess you could say most teams are, but nah, this it's not gonna work. They need to switch some things up, man, and see what they can
The
get
best thing
going.
they can switch up is their head coach. That's the best thing that they can switch up.
Yeah, yep. I mean, and then one thing we can take away: Ryan Kalkbrenner's back.
Oh yeah, I mean that guy. He coming into the season. I mean preseason Big East Player of the Year. And I mean he proved it. The issue with that is though, I mean the whole team as a whole did not look that
Not
great
at
though.
all.
They really did. He was really the bright part of that team, and you take him off the floor, they don't win that game. But to be fair though, I mean we can just go down the list of the Big East teams right now. I mean it was bad. I mean, almost the entire conference looked bad. I mean, Georgetown almost lost to Lehigh. DePaul needing to go to overtime to beat Southern Indiana. Seton Hall only scoring 57 points against St. Peter's and only winning by 4. Providence only winning by 2 against Central Connecticut. I mean, this conference, besides St. John's, UConn, and Marquette, and Ryan Kalkbrenner, not even Creighton, just Ryan Kalkbrenner. The rest of the conference looks really bad, and they might be competing to be worse than the ACC. I didn't want to say it, but it did not look pretty this week at all for the Big East Conference.
Yeah, I mean, granted, Pop Isaacs wasn't playing, but it's still Creighton. Look, but I don't think the Creighton game we can overreact to that because that
No, no,
UT
absolutely
Rio
not.
Grande Valley team looked freaking good, man. They so I looked it up. The game before that, they put up 40. I think it was like 42 threes, like attempts, and I was like, holy shit! And then they come out and they're just making everything. Like every three they shoot is just. It's like they go to like AAU tour and say, "Hey kid, you can shoot a three ball good. Come play for us." Like it's insane. But if like UT Rio Grande Valley makes a tournament, they might be a sleeper for an upset, a crazy upset. But yeah, like you said, all these other teams in the Big East, rough. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
think my biggest shocker was Xavier. I was not expecting them to look as bad as they did, especially with all the hype around them this year. But they look like the same team as last year, and that's not a good sign for Xavier at all. It's for a team with the expectations to be a top 15 team this year.
Yeah, yeah, they looked rough. Yeah, but St. John's, hey, Kadari Richmond's back.
Absolutely, absolutely. St.
Yeah,
John's one of the positives.
they're gonna be really fun to watch. I think throughout this season because just the way they get up and down, just the way they run everything. Um, what else can we touch on here?
Oregon in the Big Ten. They're the team out of the Big Ten that really did not look great. I would say out of the teams that I expected to be better, they struggled in their opener, but it was kind of like we said. I mean, they have a starting five. They have a great starting five, but the bench depth. I mean, it showed in the first game. The bench depth was rough. It was
Yeah,
really rough. So
yeah. I think
that's
Oregon looked rough. USC did exactly what I thought USC was gonna do. I'm not gonna lie. they absolutely beat down Chattanooga, and Agbo coming in makes such a difference for that team. The transfer from Boise State, it was awesome watching that team play. I think they're gonna be one of them Big Ten teams that just makes it. They're gonna find ways to win them close games. And then one more team I want to touch on the Big Ten, Indiana. Indiana struggled last night. That the start, like the first part of that first half, they looked horrible. But our big question was their shooting.
Hmm.
And when they just got going, that team looked great last night. I'm not gonna lie, Miles Rice. I don't even think Miles Rice he played, but he didn't really get that much playing as much playing time as what I thought. But they looked freaking good, man. Anything?
I mean, yeah, in Indiana, it's a team we expected to be good. A team that we expected to be at the top of the Big Ten, and I think I personally think that they look the part. Besides that little slow start, but I mean, it's the first game this season. You can kind of expect a slow start. So for that, not going to overreact on that. I think Indiana's still great.
Yeah, yeah. You want to hit SEC?
Yeah, South Carolina and Georgia were just as bad as we thought they would be. They are. So, I mean, South Carolina lost to, was it Old Dominion?
Yeah,
Was it Old Dominion? Yep, they lost to Old Dominion on their home floor. Feel so bad for the head coach, man, because he's such a good coach. I wish all those players didn't leave because South Carolina really had a promising future if they could have kept that team around. But unfortunate for them, and I mean Georgia basketball is just Georgia basketball. They couldn't even make the NCAA tournament with Anthony Edwards. What makes you think they can make the NCAA tournament now? So definitely my big takeaways from the two big takeaways from the SEC, in my opinion.
yeah. For me, you still have your old misses. You still got Florida. You still got all your big
Hmm.
name schools. We're just waiting for them to showcase against good teams. So we can't really react too much. I will say Arkansas did look very good against Lipscomb the other day. Uh, but mid-major school, you don't know what you're getting out of them schools anymore. With transfer portal, it made these schools that were so good last year, they don't even have the same identity as what
Hmm.
they did last year. Like we'll talk about. I'll bring it up too. McNeese. What happened? They lost to South Dakota State. That's crazy. They were a 10.5 point favorite. That's wild. Will Wade. I don't. What are we doing, buddy? But nah, they'll turn it around. They'll turn it around. They got a big game coming up with Bama this week. So
Yeah, and to touch on Florida, Florida was a team that they looked good at times and then bad at times in that game. And I just think Florida, they're gonna have to figure it out on the defensive end because giving up 80. I will admit USF looked a lot better than I expected. USF lost a lot of players to the transfer portal and they brought a lot of new players in. I did not expect USF to compete in that game, and they competed hard. They fought hard, and USF looked good as well. But I mean, both teams, I mean, they definitely had to pick it up on the defensive end. I think Florida's just that good offensively, in my personal opinion. I don't know if it was necessarily USF's defense, but Florida, for sure. I mean, if you're going to want to compete in the SEC, I mean, they're going to have to find it. They're going to have to find a way to pick it up on the defensive end for sure, because it was not a great defensive showing for the Gators in the opener.
yeah, nah, it's rough. There's one team that I'm gonna bring up every week on the podcast because of that the preseason show we did, and that's gonna be the Vanderbilt Commodores putting up 102 points. Your boy McLaughlin went crazy. Now I did play
McLaughlin,
Maryland
man.
Eastern Shore, but hey, they might got a little something going on.
We'll see how they continue. We'll see how they continue.
Yeah, they got a game against Cal November 13th, so that's 6 days away. We'll see how they do against a team that's I can't even say good.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the battle of the basement teams. Should be a close one. Should be a close one. The Missouri. To touch on Missouri real quick, they looked pretty good against Memphis. I thought both teams looked kind of. I both teams looked right where really I expected them to look. I expected both of them to look like good teams, not great teams, and I think that's exactly what they looked like.
Yeah, yeah, they didn't look good, didn't look bad. They did lose to who was it? Memphis, right?
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and like Memphis is gonna be one of them teams where they're gonna be hit or miss this year. They're gonna play very good or just look very out of sync. So I'm not gonna overreact on that. Missouri was missing one of their freshmen, 5-star freshmen, 4-star
Hmm.
freshmen. So
5-star freshman. Yep.
yeah, so it's not like they got much to worry about. They were hanging in there. So we'll see how they do when they get their guys back healthy. You want to jump
And
over to
then
ACC, or you got
hmm.
you got one more for SEC?
No, no, ACC.
ACC?
Hmm.
Yeah. Let's go ahead with your Duke Blue Devils. What you got?
Oh, I mean, they look fantastic, but I mean, you can't overreacting when they're playing the blind and deaf, you know. Con Canopal looked incredible. Con Canopal looked like he was going to be one of the best players. Everybody's talking about Cooper Flag, Cooper Flag, Cooper Flag. Guys, there's another white kid out there named Con, and he is an absolute animal. I mean, he just looked phenomenal on every aspect. He can shoot. He can use his size and get to the rim. He can shoot the free throws. He can play the defense. I mean, he's just Concanopal looked unbelievable, and I am so excited to just continue to watch this team and see what the future holds for them. And then other than that, I mean, pretty much most of the ACC they didn't look bad. They didn't look bad. North Carolina struggled home opener. I feel like this is kind of a thing every year for North Carolina. Not trying to hate on them, but they normally do struggle in their home opener for some reason. I don't know why. They play some like random team like Elon, and then like the last 5 minutes of the game, it's a tie game, and then they pull away and win by like 15 points. That's just what they do for some reason on their home opener. But I mean, they're gonna have to find a way because they got a big game coming up on tomorrow that we'll talk about here momentarily.
Yeah. So we're hitting on these top teams. There's one team that's just I looked at the score of this game and I did not believe it, and that was Syracuse. What the hell?
Yeah,
We almost to Lemoyne.
Syracuse is bad. They're gonna be
Lemoyne
pretty bad.
Lemoyne went
It's
out last night. They lost to uh, California State University of Northridge
it's
last
yeah,
night.
it's
What the
Syracuse.
hell?
I might have picked the wrong last place team in the ACC because Syracuse is definitely going to be competing with Boston College for that last place spot, which Boston College didn't look better. And then Virginia without Tony Bennett, I mean, it looked pretty rough. It looked pretty rough for the Cavaliers, I'll be honest. So don't believe that they're going to be that middle of the pack team that I thought they were going to be, that
I
I
will
talked
give
about
you
last week.
I will give you kudos though. You did say Notre Dame was going to improve, and
Hmm.
they looked really good. I'm not gonna lie.
This team's
Shrewsbury,
only going to get better, man. They got a top five recruiting class coming in next year too.
yeah, his
It's
rebuilding is insane.
they're going to be very, very good in the upcoming years, and I think, like I said, I think they're going to be fine this year. I don't know if they're going to be a top 25 team, but they're going to be good enough to where that they're going to be able to at least hang in with the top teams, in my opinion, and keep it close for maybe a half.
And Pitt too. Pitt looked amazing. They
Absolutely. Pitt,
held
I'm
Radford to
very
like
high on Pitt.
60 points, something like that. They look very good. Uh, yeah, but ACC, it's all I look at it. I don't want to say it's a toss up, but for me right now, Louisville, Duke, those are my top two. That it's two is between. I know it's the first 3 days of the season, but
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
it's a great time. College basketball. This is what it's all about.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
Louisville, Jesus, man, are they back?
I think they are. I really do. I don't know if they're back to national championship contention, but I mean I think they're back, and I think that this team's going to be a good team this year. I really do.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. They look freaking good. I'm
And
excited
we'll
to
talk
watch them.
about them momentarily as well, as they got a big game coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, I guess the only conference we didn't really recap yet is the Big Ten. Anything you got? I think Purdue looked rough. I'm not gonna lie. They did look rough.
Purdue did not look the greatest, but I mean, I don't think they looked awful. I think they can play better than what they did. And
Yeah,
really, other than that, I mean, most of the Big Ten teams look good, but I mean, they also played some pretty bad opponents. So, I mean, it's hard to judge off of that. So, I mean, I think that's really all I got for the Big Ten.
yeah. There's no reason. We'll touch it when these better games happen throughout
Hmm.
this week and next week. So you just
Get to
want to jump
previewing
to
the Power Five games of the week.
yeah? Let's jump right into it. North Carolina and Kansas tomorrow night, the big one. What are you thinking? For me personally, I can tell you where my head's at, and I think Kansas beats them by 20, 25. But that's just where my head's at. Tell me if I'm
Mm,
wrong.
I know. I don't think you're wrong. I think Kansas definitely. I mean, this is a home game for Kansas and North Carolina. Not looking the greatest against Elon. I mean, Hubert Davis looked like he was ready to pull out a gun and shoot his players on the sideline on opening night. He was fired up. It just it's unfortunate that you got to run into number one Kansas on your second game of the season. That's really all I have to say for North Carolina. I think it'll be close in the first half. I don't think they're just going to get mowed over like how Gonzaga just absolutely beat the daylights out of Baylor. I think it'll be close in the first half. I think Kansas does pull away in the second half, though, for that 15 to 20 point win. I would definitely like the Jayhawks for sure.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I think Kansas wins this game by double digits.
I think there's just too much talent for
Too
Kansas.
much
There's
depth.
just too much talent.
That's just like you struggled against Elon. Now, granted, it was first game. You got the jitters and everything, but I think that they're gonna struggle a lot with Kansas's depth and size.
I
So
will say one thing. Elliot Cadeau actually looks like he can be an offensive player this year for North Carolina, and that'll be big for the Tar Heels. That'll definitely be big for the Tar Heels. That way, R.J. Davis doesn't have to average 35 points a game to keep them in top contention. So I think if Elliot Cadeau can keep that up, I think North Carolina's in a good position with him as an offensive player this year.
yeah, yep, I agree. Agree. Um, did I have any
Start
other?
off with the noon. Oh yeah, your other Friday game. I believe
Yeah,
it was New Mexico and UCLA.
yeah, dude, I'm excited for that one. That's a Donovan Dent with no help. I feel bad for him, honestly,
Yeah, I was gonna
because
say New Mexico. They lost a lot, did they
they
not?
lost too much. It's
Yeah, they
hard for
lost a
me
lot.
to yeah, and UCLA didn't look good in their opener. I made this when I put this on the blueprint here. I was expecting New Mexico State to be a similar team to last year when they had all their like big name guys back, but they look they look bad.
Yeah, no, and I think UCLA will take care of business, especially if this UCLA team is as good as people are saying they are. I definitely am excited to kind of see what they can do here because if they take care of business, then that's they're making me a believer. Then at that point, well, not a full believer, but I mean they're showing me something. They're showing me something. And UCLA was one of those teams that I said last week that they need to show me that they're back, and I want to see it. So definitely excited to see what happens in that game tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure, for
And
sure.
UCLA, I do pick UCLA to win that one I'll go 12. I'll give them 12 points.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I got UCLA by I give it like 8, 9. So we're on the same page there. I think this next game though, we might be on polar opposite sides. Are we looking at the same one?
The first game on Saturday, Tennessee and Louisville.
Yeah. So look, we got the whiteout at Penn State, and we got the whiteout at Louisville, baby. That place is gonna be rocking. Not gonna lie,
Yeah,
place
no,
is gonna be rocking.
I'm taking the upset here. I am. I think Louisville's going to upset Tennessee. Tennessee, I mean, they did look good. They looked a lot better offensively than I anticipated them in their opener, I will say. And it's not going to shock me one bit if Tennessee does win the game. Win the game. I mean, they're a top tier basketball program now, and they're expected to be good every single year. But Louisville, that place is going to be sold out. That place is going to be rocking, and I smell an upset absolutely. I think Louisville's going to upset Tennessee on Saturday for the big upset of the day.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I thought we were gonna be on opposite sides on this one. I think Kayshawn Pryor, as much as I can't stand him, I think that he's gonna eat up. I think they wipe the floor with Tennessee.
Yeah,
Uh,
get ready for Bubba to be in piss already here in this
yeah,
early
Bubba
stages of college
already.
basketball season.
He's gonna come into the chat and be like, Tennessee by a million, this that. Nah, bro, they're gonna get starched. Then you look at the night. Is it a night game or is it
Yeah,
3:30?
7:30, 7:30, 9:30 back-to-back games at the same arena, at the Dallas Mavericks arena. We start off with Arkansas and Baylor in the first game.
Yeah, I think this is a premier bounce back spot for Baylor here.
Absolutely.
I think this
Absolutely.
you had a rough first game. I mean, to be fair, coming into your your college basketball career and playing against Graham Ike and Ryan Nemhard, who both have been in on the college basketball scene for what 5 years, 4 years.
They're both seniors this year, both seniors.
Yeah, so they've been playing balls for at that level for so long. So you're young, you come in, that's your first game. I expect it to be rough. But now you go in against Arkansas, this is your opportunity here. You can get a big win to boost your resume right off the bat. So I think Baylor wins a very close game. I think this game is going to be come down to last possession.
Absolutely. I think this game is going to be very, very close. This is going to be a one possession final score by far. I mean, this is a very, very evenly matchup game. Like you said, Baylor is in the prime position for the bounce back, but I'm leaning Arkansas. I'm leaning Arkansas here. I think he's found a second home, and I think, like I said last week, he's out to prove something this year. His last few years at Kentucky have been not great on his resume, and I really think he's going to be out to prove something. And I think Arkansas is going to sneak away with this game, and Baylor's going to start the season 0-2, and they might, good chance they could fall out of the top 25 rankings with an 0-2 record, to be honest with you. I wouldn't necessarily. I understand they'd be 0-2 to start the season, but I would knock them out off of two losses to two potential top 10 teams. But I'm gonna take Arkansas here. I think they're gonna sneak away with the win.
Yeah, no, I see where it comes from, but no, I think Baylor. This is their big bounce back game here, and then
If Baylor can get this win, this will be a big win for Baylor because I mean that's gonna boost them. That's gonna boost their confidence immediately if they can beat an Arkansas team as good as Arkansas is.
yeah, and then you look at the game right after this. It's the two
hmm
teams that didn't skip a beat from last year. I mean, Houston. We thought they were going to be down. Well, I thought they were going to be down this year.
I didn't expect them to be down, but I didn't expect them to score 97 points. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? So I'm very intrigued by
You,
this matchup. Auburn's always
oh,
going to bring that same intensity every single game.
hmm
So that's one thing that you can always expect from them. Whereas Houston, you get these moments when they have these games, and they come out flat. And if you come out flat against Auburn, we've seen what happens. You aren't going to
hmm
score more than 15 points in the first half. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is two of the top defenses in college basketball, if not the two best defensive teams in all of college basketball going at it. And this 9:30 tip-off game. It's going to be a great one. It's going to be a fantastic game, and just like the Arkansas game, I think this one's coming down to the wire too. There's people at American Airlines Arena in Dallas are going to see two fantastic basketball games. Whoever's going to that, because I think this one's going to come down to the wire as well. And honestly, like yeah, maybe this is an exaggeration, but you never know. This could be a national championship preview. This could absolutely be a national championship preview here for sure. I'm going to take Auburn. I think Auburn is just slightly better than Houston, and I'm going to take Auburn to win 62 to 60.
Yeah, I think Auburn squeaks this one out. I think I got about like a little bit more of a margin. I got like 70 to like 62. I don't think Bama
hmm
will be able to score. Auburn's defense looked insane. I just don't think not Bama. Jeez, I don't. I
Houston.
don't think Houston will be able to score. I think that they'll have them on lockdown for sure.
All right. And then we move on to our Champions Classic on Tuesday. I think one of these games will be good, but I mean, it's the Champions Classic. You might as well talk about both of them. First game of the night, Kansas and Michigan State. What are you thinking about this one?
I'm just gonna touch this one lightly, I guess. Kansas is gonna absolutely destroy them. Izzo might pull up a game plan to keep it close the first half, but when this game touches second half, I think Kansas wins this game by 15. I don't see it being close.
I could see them. I
I
could see
gotta
them winning
see.
by 2025.
I do want to
I could
see
see them
Michigan
winning by a
State.
lot more than 15.
When does Michigan State play tonight? When I want to see Michigan State play. I think
I
an opportunity to
believe.
play. They do
Let me
play
take a
tonight, I
look
believe.
here. Do they?
Let me check. Because if they do, um, oh, it brings up their football schedule
Here, I got you. Michigan State play. I mean, they play the Niagara Purple Eagles today, baby.
tonight.
The
Okay.
Niagara Purple Eagles.
All right. I'm gonna watch that game. I'm gonna watch that game here in about an hour and a half to see what they got because I think it's an opportunity to watch them. So I can't really say much about them, but on paper they look really down
They
this
don't
year.
look great. They do
Yeah.
not look great. They got a great matchup coming up against the Colorado Buffalo, one of the worst Power Five teams in the country. Got a great game coming up there.
Yeah. Go Buffs. Go Joel. And then we move on to the second game. Duke, Kentucky.
This will be a
Mm,
fun one.
this is one that we disagree on, and we got into it before
Yes.
podcast talking about it.
hmm
I think Kentucky wins this game. I think
I after what I watched Duke do the other night, and what I'm gonna watch Duke do to Army tomorrow night while we're at New Oxford High School watching some football. Duke just they looked unbelievable. They looked absolutely unbelievable. Everything looked great. And I get it. It's going to be the young youth team versus the veteran Kentucky team. And people are going to think the veteran Kentucky team is going to be able to take down this youth team. But I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. I think Duke's the better team, and I think Duke's going to win by 10.
nah.
I
They're not
do.
gonna be able to stop Andy. Andy double double. It's
Andy
gonna
might
happen.
go for a double double, but I mean
Andy's gonna be the reason why they win this game.
I got I just don't see a way how Kentucky can win this game. I just don't see it.
Nah, I think that the veteran aspect of that team is going to lead them to win this game. Personally, but hey, we can agree to disagree. We'll come back to it when it's done. Hey, and we're gonna best part.
Indeed.
When is this Tuesday? All right,
Indeed.
no, we
Yes,
ain't gonna be
Tuesday
able to
night.
watch it together. We ain't gonna be able to watch it together. But yeah, nah, I think it'll be a good game. But I think Kentucky will pull away towards the end. So.
I pray you're wrong. I pray you're
So
wrong.
then, um, what do we got?
Constantinople is that guy.
Yeah, and
Get
then we
Cooper,
got
throw Cooper Flag out the window. Constantinople is that guy.
then we got the mid-major. We got the mid-major games. So then we got the mid-major games for this week. I look at those. We got my big one is Boise State versus San Francisco. I think that I watched both of those teams play, and they both looked very, very good this year. So I think it'll be a close game, but Boise State they picked up where they left off, and they lost their best player. So, but I got that. I got Belmont and Lipscomb, and then Colgate and Drexel. Those are my other two ones this week. And then all my games from last week are tonight. I didn't know that. I didn't realize it. Um,
That's all right.
Chattanooga St. Mary's at 10. Robert Morris, Delaware, probably just tipped off. And then Milwaukee and Northern Iowa is tonight as well at 8 o'clock. So those are my mid-major games. Anything that you'd want to add, Kyle?
You know, uh, go Louisville. Go Louisville. Let's root for the upset. Let's root for the upset, you know? Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. War Eagle and go Cardinals. Never thought I'd say that in the same sense. But hey, guess we'll wrap it up here. Hope everybody's blessed day. Kyle, as always, it's an honor. And hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe.